Welcome on into the Bill Tierney Show here on ESPN Denver 1600. I'm Rod Sharon, and as we do every Wednesday at this time, we catch up with the head coach of the defending national champion Denver Pioneers men's lacrosse team. And another crazy one to say the least. Your second straight week, you go to overtime. Your second straight week, you get an overtime victory 2 weeks ago at North Carolina, last week at Notre Dame, and of course, 5 of your last 6 meetings with the Irish have gone to overtime, so I guess we really shouldn't be surprised how it turned out.
Yeah, I think we were more surprised that it was 7-2 at the end of 3 quarters as opposed to, the 9-9 or 9-8 that it turned out to be. So, it's one of those things that the unpredictable is the most predictable thing about them. And giving up 4 goals in 43 seconds certainly was something I've never seen before.
Execution-wise, as you guys are going through that hot start, was it something strategically that you were able to take advantage of? Did your players just come out with some extra juice? What resulted in getting off to that good start against such a good team?
Well, I think what really hyped our offense up was that they took a bunch of shots early, and Alex Reddy, our goalie, was really on. I mean, they had a couple of snipers, Sergio Petrovic and those Matt Cavanaugh, those kind of guys, and Alex was on the game, and so I think for the offense they got that feeling that okay, let's run our stuff, let's do what we do, to score 4 in the first and then 3 in the second. That's not what a normal Notre Dame game is like. It's usually 2, maybe 3 in a quarter. So we were a little surprised, but the guys were playing well, and most happily surprised, or at least satisfied with how our defense and our goalie was playing. Told our team at halftime, we know Notre Dame. They can go on runs, and we knew they were going to. The third quarter was really strange. We had some amazing opportunities. They had a few too, but looking back, we should have changed some strategy there because they're so well coached and they've got a lot of good players that we just kind of got to a point where we were, just kind of playing and nothing was happening. So we felt okay about the nothing, and we shouldn't have. We should have changed some things, maybe played some new players in there, keep fresh legs.
And when they have that 8-7 lead and then Tyler Pace comes back and scores the game-tying goal, what kind of a jolt does it get to stop that run? And as you mentioned, we're going to win this game, start acting like it. When you let the other team start coming back on you, sometimes it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, like, oh, man, we're going to blow this thing. But suddenly, boom, you answer, Tyler Pace ties up the game. Did it almost give you guys a second win, so to speak?
No question. The second win was key. It fired Trevor Baptiste up because he knew the next face-off, or God forbid we go into overtime, which we did, that he was going to have to be on his game, and he was. He got us the ball. We just didn't execute the go-ahead goal at the end, although, Coach Brown had a great play set up, and it worked.
For all the games that you've coached, how do you contain your nerves, and how do you expect your players to contain their nerves in those moments?
Well, the answer to your question is if I don't, they won't. They watch my act on the sideline, and they know that I'm there for them. But at those crunch times and in big games is probably when I'm at my best, because I just feel like, if you distract them, if you let them think you're frenetic or you're in a frenzy, then it's going to be hard for them. They're 18, 22 years old, and it's going to be hard for them to control their own emotions. They'll start being worried about making mistakes, and in any sport, if you're worried about making mistakes, you're not gonna do what you need to do. So we try to express a lot of confidence in them. We try to tell them good things are going to happen, and lots of times it does.
Take us through the play, kind of diagnose it from your angle, what you saw that led you guys to retaining your undefeated season and going on to 6-0.
Well, Matt Brown believes that in overtime, if we get the face-off, we shouldn't take a timeout because he just had a break with him at the end of the regulation time. So he had a play all set up, and in overtime we won the face-off. We got the ball. We set up the play, and as I mentioned, Connor dropped it, which he normally doesn't. And then we got the ball back, and then we took the timeout. So because you only get one timeout in overtime, we took the timeout, and then Matt drew up another play as he always does, and for unless you watch the replay, the guy who made a big part of that play was Colton Jackson. He sealed his man way down low, the guy who should have rotated out to Zach Miller, and he really sealed the guy, and someone else had to come, and it was just too late. But the truth of the matter is it was a continuation of an initial dodge that kind of didn't work. But the way Brownie coaches, and he always says in practice, keep playing, keep playing, keep playing. And that's what happened. Connor got the ball and kept playing and found Zach open up top.
If you do come, you should get an opportunity to watch a very fun lacrosse game. A year ago, you guys dropped one to the Buckeyes, 13-11 in the regular season. That was your last loss. Then you come back, you beat them 15-13 in the postseason, in the quarterfinals. How do those games translate over to this year's team, the 2016 Buckeyes that are 5-3? Are there things you can take from that, things you can learn from it, or do we just kind of rip it up, throw it up, and completely new scout, new year?
Yeah, if we hadn't played them in the quarterfinals, I'd say we certainly always mark the Ohio State game on our calendar because they're one of the longest running rivalries that the University of Denver's had in Division I lacrosse since 1999. They were conference mates in the GWLL, which was the original conference that the Western teams had. And, we know them and their staff really well. So a lot of respect there. Very well coached. Last night against Towson, they were down 6-0 at halftime and end up coming back and tying it 9-9. It was very much like our Notre Dame game, and then Towson beat them in overtime. But this is a really powerful, good team. They had some players that graduated. Jesse King was equal to our Wesley Berg, and so he was the man. But they've replaced him with some good players, similar goalie, very good face-off guy. So Trevor Baptiste is going to have his hands full. So we look at it as a kind of a new game, but always reminding the guys that, hey, this was the last team that beat you. Let's do it at our house.
When you look at Ohio State as an athletics powerhouse, essentially, I mean, a premier football program, very good at basketball, lacrosse, now that we've mentioned, do you kind of look at that and then compare that with the University of Denver and say, hey, wait a second, now we've got a powerhouse lacrosse team. The hockey team is very competitive. Obviously, we know about the news that's happened in basketball this past week. How does it help when programs kind of complement each other at a school in hopes that maybe you can get 3-4 of them really rolling and just kind of build up the entire athletic prestige, so to speak, of a university?
Well, as you know, Raj, we've won 7 of the last 8 Learfield Cups, which does signify supremacy in Division I athletics, not just lacrosse or hockey. And that's a tribute to Peg Bradley Doppus and our whole administrative crew and all the coaches. I tell you, I go into those coaches meetings and I look around and you've got phenomenal coaches from head to toe, and they're all into each other, which is really cool. Jim Montgomery and I have become good friends, and I really love what he does with these kids and what they're doing in hockey. People talk about our winning streak. Well, you win 11 straight games in hockey. You're doing something really, really good. And so I think we do drive each other a lot. And I think we've taken the words conference championship and having a good season out of the vernacular of Denver athletics, and we've put the words national championship into it, and I think everybody's striving that, and our ski team just won their 23rd.
Yeah, I was going to say, we missed the ski team was another national title.
And it's just phenomenal how they did their 23rd one, and so everybody's driving each other, and we're hoping to, continue to carry our weight.